All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are delivering the goods today on Cliff's Notes. Richard Wallace III is the overcomer, and you're going to see how he's turned really difficult times into being a top real estate agent. Coming up next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. That's guaranteed today, and I do guarantee it, and I'm so excited to be here. Trelvis, thank you, man. I as we said in the elevator, I am complete this week knowing that I'm here in your presence, my friend.
Man, I appreciate it. It's good to see y'all.
It is so good to see you, too, and I want to welcome my co-host and best friend, C3, and we got a real special treat down at the end of the table down there, Trellis. You had a chance to meet him beforehand, but
yes, sir.
This is Richard Wallace III, and you're going to be glad that you're watching the show today.
Right on.
Because we're going to take you through what it takes to bust through adversity and to make it to the top. And I'm so excited to go ahead. Let's just go ahead and dive on in here and get with Richard and just let's unpack some things here, Richard.
Okay.
I am so glad that you're here today. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, Mr. Cliff. Appreciate the platform. I mean, this is a beautiful opportunity, so I appreciate you.
Well, I'm telling you, we're so excited, and the reason why here is we've got a real message and some real help that we're going to bring our audience today. And I started this show with the intent of helping people. That was the whole purpose for putting this together. And when we get folks such as yourself up here that have an unbelievable testimony and are a picture of what it takes to break through adversity and get back up on your feet and stuff, it warms my heart. So if you're in the audience today and you're watching this live or recorded, you are in for a real treat. So stick with us here. All right, Richard, let's take a minute and, man, you joined the Cliff Freeman Group. How long has it been now? I guess it's been almost almost 2 years. Has it been?
Well, no, just a little over a year.
Over a year, man. Yes, I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, it just, it's amazing how if it's only been that long, how far you've come is even more impressive. You really started. I say started. You had a real estate opportunity earlier on in your life, but when you joined our group is when I think you really started to flourish and to find your niche. And we're going to talk about the success that you've been able to find here and a little bit about that. But what I'd like to do to start the show is let's rewind a little bit and introduce the audience to Richard growing up. And what was it like growing up for you? You grew up in Tulsa, I believe, right, Richard?
Yes, sir. Born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am an original OU Sooner. So for all you Texas fans, we was whipping out those whoopings on y'all for quite a bit of time. But we moved to Texas when I was about 10, 11 years old. Things kind of switched around for us a little bit. Life wasn't like in Oklahoma with all the family. We got land back home, so we could go to the country every weekend to my grandma's place. It was pretty cool. When we got to Texas, things kind of changed a little bit. I was the hard head one of the family. So I started kind of doing my own little thing. But for the most part, my mom, she did her very best, and my grandmother did her very best to try to raise me. So I appreciate them, and I give them a shout out too, my mom and my grandmother. So
okay, so. Did you have a male influence in your life growing up?
Not necessarily. My dad, he was around for a little bit, up until I was about like 10 or 11, and things happened the way it happened. But for the most part, in the years where it counts, no, sir. I was out there kind of hitting my head and kind of learning on my own.
Okay. And you sort of had to become a provider, in a sense, for the family a little bit. You actually started working at a pretty young age, didn't you?
Yeah, about 12, 13. My mom had a janitorial business. I'm pretty sure you probably heard Jana King franchise. My mom had that, so I was, while kids was at home at night, I was stripping and waxing floors, mopping and stuff like that. So, I remember, being 12, 13, my mom having to show me how to use the little machine, and it was so powerful that if you didn't hold it right, it'd drag you into the wall. So, I started working at a young age, man.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I used to clean the gym floor at St. Mark's when I was there.
Wow.
I worked also in the janitorial services where I went to school, and I remember those machines, man. If you get them, they'll catch
right.
you if you're not
they
careful,
will
right?
catch you.
Take you
Very
for a little
powerful.
spin.
Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And so you went on and actually give us what were your teenage years like? What was some of the things that had an impact on you?
My teenage years were more or less, I say, the years that I know that God was keeping me, because I got into a lot of trouble. I've done quite a few things. I dropped out of high school and I didn't make it past the 10th grade.
Okay.
I had to go get a GED, when I was trying to get my life back right. There's a lot of stuff, man. It's, I can't go down everything, but I can tell you that, I was going down a path where it was either two options for me. Either I was going to be in prison, which that happened almost twice, but, the Lord kept me from that situation. And, probably even dead, man, just to be honest with you. Yeah. So I was doing a lot. I wasn't, being focused in school. I really didn't appreciate school like I do now. And even now, I'm starting to come to the understanding, they want you to write all these essays. I tried to do the college thing for a little bit, but I was like, man, after the fourth page, I done said what I need to say, so I don't know what else to say. So.
Some people don't need to write a book to say what they need to say.
No,
do they? Yeah.
No,
I mean, they're just to the point. That's it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. So you went through and pushed through and got your GED, and along the way you had a few bumps. It wasn't perfect.
No,
okay,
sir.
But none of us. Okay, and I'll hold my hand up and tell you, and you too, because I know. And but hey, we don't live perfect lives, but it's not about falling down, is it? It's about getting up.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
So you've been able to do that. So when was that zero moment of truth for you, Richard, when you felt like real estate was your calling? What was that moment like?
Well, believe it or not, Cliff, I say since I was kind of young, because I've always liked, talking to my grandmother and my older relatives, I would say. Mm-hmm. And so my great-granddad actually owned up about 900 acres of land. They took out the oil pumps now, but back when I was younger, you could still see the oil pumps in our land that we had back home. And my grandmother would always talk to me about my granddad, Orrin Breckenridge. He owned so much real estate, and then at the time that he did that, not to be funny, most people wasn't able to do that. She would tell me she remembered times that he can go to the bank on Sundays and the banker will open up just for my granddad. They would talk about that his cattle was so prestige. I think one guy stole one of his cattle, and because they recognized, they said, hey, he doesn't sell his cattle but only one part of the year. And so they automatically knew that it was stolen. So I was always kind of intrigued about his story. He was born like 1890-something, was on his own since he was like 12. And I heard what he done with real estate, land. And I was like, man, I like that too. So I've always talked about, owning, being in real estate since I was like 16 years old. Like I always thought that was fascinating.
Well, that's interesting. Wow. So your grandfather was in the cattle business.
Yes, sir. He was a farmer.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you at a relatively young age, I should say, figured that was a good spot to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I liked it a lot. Of course, I didn't know too much, but when it really just clicked for me, after my grandmother gave me a good talk, she wanted me to stop doing what I was doing, and I could see that I was having an effect on some of my other siblings. I picked up a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It changed my life. I think that was probably.
Tell us about that. How did that book affect you? What'd you learn from it, Richard?
Well, to be honest, a lot of the stuff that we think that we can do that I thought I was doing illegally, you can actually do that on a legal level and reap the rewards of it to where it doesn't, nothing has to haunt you. And then it started making me think differently. So, I'm like, okay, especially the cash flow quadrant. You got your E, your S, then your B, then your investor. And I'm like, oh, so I can invest in real estate and I can get rental income. So I knew I wanted real estate, but I didn't know what the benefits of real estate actually was. Mm-hmm. So when Robert Kiyosaki broke that down to me, it was like, yo, this is amazing. I need to find out how I can create cash flow so I can get these real estate properties, and one day I can go chill with Cabo with Mr. C2 and C3. So,
Which is coming up in about 3 weeks, yeah. That's a great book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I don't know if you remember C3, but I think I had you reading that book. How old were you?
I think a freshman in high school.
Freshman in high
man.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
Impactful.
wasn't it? Yeah. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, that's in the top 10 probably, I think,
Definitely.
of
Yeah,
books that definitely, if you're going to go into real estate, that you should read for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so you actually, when did you get your real estate license then, Richard?
I got my real estate license. I was probably about 21, 22. But at that time, I was very unfocused. I was a young man trying to find out anything that works. So I was just hopping on things. I think we call it, I told you, the shiny syndrome. So I was trying to work a network marketing business. I was selling cars and trying to do a real estate business. And I was just very naive, just like most young men, who kind of grew up on their, relying on their own merit. You just think you know it all. And that was me for quite some time. And, sometimes you keep hitting your head up against the wall and you feel like you got a concussion. You're like, I got to get some help. So, I started seeking some better advice. And, that's when things started changing. But I had it for a while. I just never really had the opportunity to really do something with it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then you sort of wandered around a little bit, the car business, and,
Yes, sir.
and got involved in some other things. And,
Yes, sir.
And then I think, how did you find us? Was it an ad that you answered? I believe we were looking for real estate agents. I think you picked up on that ad.
Absolutely. Because at that time I had kind of just got out of the credit union, which I was blessed and fortunate enough to work in that atmosphere, and that really kind of changed my mind about money completely. We was never really taught about money or finances or anything. And so, like you said, I was working at GM Financial at that time, and I saw an ad because my passion was to get back into real estate. Like, my passion is like, man, I want to be able to have the opportunity to control and dictate the amount of money that I can earn, but also that I could leave something towards my family, kind of like how you doing with C3, man. I think that's a beautiful thing that most people don't really acknowledge is, man, you want something that you could pass. I think the Bible said that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, and that's something that I always desired to do, man. So I saw your ad on Indeed.
Okay.
I thought it was a job, but it was something different.
All right. You thought it was a job, but it was something different. Okay. You just quoted a Bible verse, and I know that God is very deeply in you and a big part of your life. Tell us how you got close to Jesus.
Well, like I said, I was a very hard-headed young man. I was kind of confused about a lot of things, but I say the thing that really just started pricking my heart is I had, faced 2 jail charges when I was 18. That was the first time I just remember the Lord actually dealing with me. I was facing a pretty lengthy sentence, and I don't know how, but one day I came to the courthouse and they told me they couldn't find my record no more. And I remember sitting in jail for a couple of days. Had to go check in and report every week, and one day I just came back and they said, "Sir, we don't have nothing about you in our system." And that just blew my mind and made me bust out in tears, man, because I knew, that the Lord did something, because, I was facing a felony charge, man, and that just, the fact I was like, man, my life was ruined. I remember, man, I thought I was like, man, my life is gone. But, I was still hard-headed, still did it and thing. And then the last time that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to listen and just give him my total heart, man. I was sitting in a jail cell, laying down in a cot, just looking up, man. And I remember smelling that stinky cot, man. It smelled like shoes and socks. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I kept seeing a pattern with my life. It seemed like I just kept going in the same cycle, man. And, they wanted me to do jail time. And I was like, man, I'm tired of this. And I remember the Lord just really dealing with me, and he led me to a good pastor, a good church home, and he told me what the truth is, and I had to line up, and I thank God for it. So, that's when my life really just started changing, man. I say I didn't start living until I actually got saved, because now I actually have a mind to do better. I have a mind to meet a Mr. C2 and a C3, those guys that can pour into your life, versus thinking that you may be trying to hurt me or offend me. So, that's been a blessing to me, man.
Well, I've said many times on this show that sometimes the good Lord has to take you down to rock bottom before you realize who the rock at the bottom is, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
That was real.
But, something else, and this is important for people in the audience to hear. We're getting a little serious, but this is really important. Most of the superstar, the really great agents that I've ever met in my life have overcome a lot of adversity, and they've been taken to a place that they never want to go back to. And they are driven to succeed because they don't ever want to experience what they had experienced before. And that seems a little bit like what's kind of propelled you here to be such a strong person, not only as a great real estate agent, but now you're going to be a father in a couple of months.
Yes,
maybe
sir.
Father's Day. That's that's
Yeah,
C3's
that's crazy.
birthday.
He's
Right.
expecting,
And
yeah.
Naisha, your beautiful wife, is very gracious. And tell us a little bit about her, because we were talking at lunch, and it's not about. I always like to meet. If I'm going to bring an agent on board, I sure want to meet the spouse, because you're not getting just one person. You're getting both people. And your wife is just lovely, and I want to hear you speak about her a little bit.
Naisha is amazing. Another Bible verse say, "He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing," and that is my good thing. She supported me and believed in me at times when I didn't believe in myself. And even with this business, because and I thank God for you, Mr. C2. When we have our training calls, you always talk. Hey man, you want to guard the things that's in between your ears, and in some of those times where I couldn't guard it because what I saw in front of me was kind of tough, man, she just kept pushing me. She's like, hey, well, it's gonna pay off. Trust the Lord, just keep working. And I remember, man, even last year I had a season, where I learned that, in this business, it's all gas, no brake. And sometimes you may have some of those drafts, and it'll teach you to put a fire underneath your butt, or you're going to get some weeds there. And she was just very supportive, never, talked down to me, anything, man. She just always believed in me, and even what she do for her work, she's going out there ministering to other people, trying to help them in their situations. She's a substance abuse counselor, and then dealing with this 312-pound man who sometimes got to take a little tear to the side. So, she's been good to me. She's really been good to me.
There's probably a lot of guys out in the audience that want to know where they can find a woman like that. Where did you meet her, huh?
I met my lovely wife at church.
At church. Not a bad place to meet a wife.
It's not, man. And all I had to say was happy birthday. And that was it. And I gave it a smile, so, that was it.
That's it, huh? Good looks and charm and happy birthday.
Well, you got to know how to talk a little bit, too. Us Husky guys, we had to learn how to speak, and it benefited me in sales, too. So, I had to learn how to talk to the ladies.
Right, how to dance a little bit, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, man, I get God bumps here just hearing your testimony and how, you're such a fine, example of the work that the Lord can do in people's lives. And I just thank you for being who you are, Richard.
I appreciate
You're
that,
awesome.
Man.
All right, let's talk a little bit about real estate.
All right.
Your first year, you did how many transactions?
My first year, I completed 8 transactions.
8 transactions,
yes, sir.
Okay. And you were, for all practical purposes, you were wet behind the ears,
oh,
right?
Oh, man, like a little puppy, just looking for some milk.
Okay. Yep. And so you started, and one of the things that you did is we have a little coaching program that we partnered with Verl Workman, who's
Absolutely.
one of the most successful real estate coaches in the country. And Verl, if you're listening out there, we love you, man, and look forward to seeing you in Cabo. And we'll get that Park City Mastermind in the books here just as quick as we can. But tell us a little bit about how that's impacted your business and the way you look at it. It's the Workman Success platform that is what we make available to our agents.
Well, the biggest thing that I got from it, and granted, Verl gives some awesome strategies of working his business and cultivating skills. But one of the first things that he dove into, which I think has been a benefit to me, especially going into my second year, there's a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Mandino. Yeah.
Man, and he said, I am a slave to my habits, and I'm a servant to my habits. And one of the things that I found out in this business, like the book said, is the difference between failures and those who succeeds lies in the habits that they have. So that's been the biggest thing. And I've looked at other top agents. You know, some of them don't have the best of skills. Some may not even have the best lingo, but they have good habits, good character, and they have discipline. And that's one thing I learned from Burrow, man. If you can create good habits and stick to them and allow them to cultivate and to grow, man, you can beat just about anybody. I mean, someone who got skills, you know, that skills only take you so far, but good habits, they take you a long way.
Yeah, who was it? I think, who was the UCLA Bruins basketball coach? Help me out here. God, the guy's incredibly famous, and for some reason I can't even think of his name right now. But he used to say that he would take somebody with heart over somebody with raw talent.
Oh, yeah.
Any day of the week, you know, because he knew that he could teach the basketball skills to somebody, but you can't teach heart.
That's right.
You can't teach heart. Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Well, that's awesome. So the program, what about? Let's talk about your perfect day. You were kind of framing a little bit about habits and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about what's your week look like. What's your daytime routine look like?
Well, my daytime routine, I personally started off to find out what makes me happy, and what disappoints me. And so what I found out what makes me happy, or makes me feel motivated, I should say, is waking up early. That's one of the top things. I don't know what it is about waking up early that just motivates me. Like, if I can get up early, man, you talking about a happy Richard. So getting up early, being able to go work out, you know, I like hitting the weights, you know, and my devotional time. So I'm usually up right around 4 o'clock. The latest I try to be out of bed is about 4:30 a.m. You know, that I spend that time in prayer. I try to be at the gym by 5:30 in the morning. I'm back home by 7 o'clock. I do my devotional from 7 to 7:30. I may kind of look around at some markets, may look at some politics or something like that. But I want to be on the phone no later than 8:15. I'm on the phone, depending on how my structure, you know, I'm either calling my FISBOs and expireds, working some of the leads that you provide us throughout the team, and working my own leads. And I do that from 8 to about 11, from 11 to 12, you know, just a little cleanup work. You know, if I got to send out emails or put some people into my database, I'm doing that. And from 12 to 1, I've learned it's a blessing to turn off your cell phone. Because let me tell you something, this business, that phone will get to ringing so much. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing, but sometimes you got to unplug from it and get a mental break, because this business, you know, we always laugh at it when we see memes. You could be excited at 8 a.m. about something going good. About 4 minutes later, you know, you could be down there again. You're like, dang, man, what happened?
We have a problem with a loan.
Oh, man.
Yeah, something like that, right?
You know, you can get clear to close, and then next thing you know, the lender's talking about, oh, well, we need some more documents, and just kind of screw things up. So I try to make sure that I'm taking the necessary time to keep my mind clear and keep my mind focused and in the right state of frame, if that makes sense.
Right. So you're really, I mean, there's that we speak about the wheel of life and the 5 equities of life, and you know, your physical health is very much a part of that, and you know, I think that where I've evolved as a person and as a coach is, you know, we used to teach the tactics of real estate and all that sort of thing. You know, when we work with people now, we really try to take a more holistic approach. I mean, okay, you know, selling the real estate, you know, is part of the whole process, but you've got to really understand, you've got to have the right mindset, not just about work, but about life and about, you know, whatever your higher calling, higher being is, you know, you've got to have just comfort and peace with that.
Absolutely. And,
you know, that's one thing, Richard, that I have seen you go from honestly chaos just to, you know, order and just where you can really, you know, when I was growing up, my dad used to tell me, say, you know, you've got to be good to yourself before you can be good to anybody else. And,
oh, yes.
And you have really, in terms of what you've done to yourself, is just amazing. And it's going to obviously allow you to have an impact on more and more people. And speaking of which, tell me how it feels like to you knowing that you're going to be a dad in about 2 months.
I can't. It's such a beautiful feeling, and that's why you know, I'm so focused on creating good habits and, you know, developing myself, because I realize I'm going to have a young man that's going to be following me, and I want him to be a good man to somebody else. You know, I want him to go out and be better than what I was, and to influence other people and his children's children and maybe his community. Who knows? So I think I count it as an honor, like, to know that somebody's gonna be looking up to me to know what it's like to be a man, or how should a man operate and do these things. And it's motivated me to do everything in my willpower so he can have the best example, that he can have the best somebody to look up to, and later on down in life, some young lady, after we meet her and stuff like that, she can get a good thoroughbred, man. The Wallaces, we run pretty strong, so,
I love that. In fact, that just threw me right off. I forgot what I was going to ask you next, but holy cow. No, I think that's, the whole thing about being a father and your desire, your want, this whole thing of giving and coming from a mindset of contribution. I mean, your clients have been raving fans, and
oh, yes.
We've gotten really just awesome feedback from them after you've worked with them, and I mean, who wouldn't want to work with Richard? My goodness, if I didn't have a license, and I'd use him myself, but
I appreciate that.
He's just one of those guys that really, I think, represents the integrity, the core values that at our group, what we look for and what we represent when we do business, and that's just it's great. I'm going to pull one out of the side here,
okay,
and ask you, Richard, what do you want written on your tombstone?
Written on my tombstone, I want a devoted, loving father, a man of character, a man of standards, a man who believes that all things are possible to them that believe, and just an overall good guy. I just want to be a good guy. I want to love everyone. I just want to be that guy that, people can feel like they can call on. I can be there. Now, granted, I'm not, the type that's always compassionate about certain things. I am kind of stern on things, but I believe that's needed in this world. Some people we need to be stern with, and I would love to be that guy. I really would. Definitely.
You feel like you could disciple some people?
Oh, I am so looking forward to it. That's one thing I talked to some of my friends about with this business, and I thought about it the other day. I was like, man, I'm gonna be raising a son. And I thought about a lot of young men that grew up like I did. We didn't really have our fathers, and we kind of got into the wrong environments and listening to the wrong people. Like, I would love the opportunity to go in the neighborhoods, and now granted, I want to learn with my own first so I can know how to do this, but I would love to go out to those young men and talk to their mothers and let me, I'm not saying that they have to come stay with me, but if I can bring them in my atmosphere, if I can teach them how a man operates, if I can teach them how to work, if I can teach them about what characters, who to look out for, how to have good discernment, that, man, if you have good discernment, that'll save you a lot, but I just want to be able to pour into those young men, because I think about a lot of me and my friends. If some of us, just would have had proper guidance, they wouldn't be where they are now. So
yeah. So how does that? Let's dovetail right back into real estate.
Okay.
Which is, how do you feel about building a team eventually of people that you can coach and train and mentor?
I think it's a beautiful opportunity. I think with this business, you need a mentor. It's rewarding, but it's not easy. It takes time. It takes development. You need people like a C2 who's been in this business for a long time and who understands the mental framework that goes with this. And, I can reach certain people that you may not be able to reach. So I would love to be able to take, that vibe and that leadership that you took with the CFG group and to bring it to the RW3 group, and it's all just an offspring by what you started here, because I'll be honest with you, some people in real estate they don't like to help out certain people, man. They're stingy, they think they look at you as competition. But when you have people in the world who has a heart like Mr. C2 and Mr. C3, where it's not so much I'm looking for competition, but I'm looking to elevate others. I'm looking to spread this on so it can continue to go on. So I'm looking to do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and really that's our goal. I mean, we're all about
servant leadership
and leaders creating leaders. Ever since we got over to EXP, my whole notion of the real estate industry changed.
Yeah,
I mean, it has been such a refreshing opportunity now to look at people not as competitors but as collaborators.
Absolutely.
And to be able to lift people up instead of push them out.
Yeah, that's right.
in the traditional models, you got up to a certain point, and the only way you could move up was to move out, like on a team or something like that. We encourage people to graduate from the team after a couple of years and go out and develop their own team.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what this is all about. So, well, that's awesome. Let's see if we can get our crystal ball going here. Your goal for your second year in the business is what?
I would like to close 25 transactions.
25
I
deals.
would like to close 25 deals. I would like to acquire another rental property, a duplex, and so me and my wife can put that up because that's ultimately our goal. We just want rental properties.
Okay.
So that's it.
You notice how soft-spoken he is for such a big guy? You played football, did you?
I played a little bit of football. I played a little bit of boxing. I did a little bit of basketball. I did a little bit of taekwondo.
Really?
But, I had injuries. According to my ankle, I had to have surgery. So, I kind of gave up on some of that stuff, and I was just kind of a little too hard-headed. But, yeah, we played a little bit of sports. Man.
Yeah. And that's that, part of that playing on a team, I think, is really helpful with real estate and being on a team, where you've got support. And coaching and so forth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So 25 deals. What about, take me to year 3? What does year 3 look like? Have you gone that far out to?
Well, I can tell you my 5, and I'm working. I started with 5, and I'm working backwards. So, in 5 years, I would love to be earning $500,000 a year, $250,000 for my real estate business. I would love to earn $150 plus in my rentals and my investment business, because that's something that me and my wife plan on starting as an investment company with the property management. Of course, agent attraction, helping other agents and grooming them and cultivating them to go out and be some of the best agents that's out there, because we need more of that out there in our industry, earning income from that. And just little small things. Most people don't know I want a farm. So, I don't mind selling a couple of heads of cattle and some chickens and some dogs, stuff like
really?
that. So, yeah.
You can take Richard out of the farm, but you can't take the farm out of Richard, right?
No sir. Even some horses, we get some good horses, we'll sell them to you if you got the money.
I love it. Wow. Well, that's it just amazes me. Did you see how he knows his goals 5 years out just like this? I mean, he can articulate them and knows the money he wants to make off of them.
Absolutely.
And so forth.
Absolutely. I'm very driven. Very driven.
Yeah. So if you had a word, there's agents out there that are watching the show right now that are probably in their first year, maybe not too far from where you are. What's the single best piece of advice that you could offer them today?
I would say love yourself. And what I mean by that, if you love yourself and value yourself enough, you'll care to focus on yourself. I granted it's very challenging, but if you love yourself, you'll work on yourself. Even when things are not going as good as you think they may go, because you just have a desire to grow. Because, money may not come in as fast as you want it, but if you can change, I think Jim Rohn said that, you'll never elevate, your pocketbook will never elevate past where you elevate. So if you can learn to love yourself enough to where, and granted it is good to have motivation, but you are your own motivation. You can find that motivation deep down inside of you. It's a beautiful thing, and you will always strive to be better than what you were yesterday if you learn to love yourself.
Okay. Wow, man, I'm just blown away. You don't read about or read Jim Rohn on the way to get your GED.
Oh, no.
Where did you find out about Jim Rohn, and how important is self-development for you?
Man, self-development has been everything for me, because you're looking at a young man. I never made it past the 10th grade, man. So I had to get a GED. It really started with 2 guys named Lyman and Wyman King. I will always thank them for them pouring into me. It was just at a point of time in my life where I didn't understand what was being told, but now that I'm older, I can receive it. And one of the things that he told me, because these guys were from Mississippi, and he was a manager of Park Place. His wife was on BET, and one thing he told me, he said, you never have to play the cards that life has dealt you. He said, you can always wait to get a better hand. He said, you never have to play those cards. And so I've always just started looking to do better. I started listening to YouTube. I started looking at other guys, Grant Cardone or Jim Rohn. The Bible, it speaks about a lot of good things about you developing yourself and your character. And what's the other guy I'm thinking of? Think and Grow Rich,
Oh,
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill, for sure. Yeah.
Even when I didn't know how to read too well, and I was over there trying to sound out the words, I was reading Napoleon Hill. So man, that that was it for me, man.
So reading.
Reading, it's fundamental.
Reading is fundamental. Yeah. I mean, I know they built a whole marketing
It
campaign
is.
about that, but it is.
It really is. It really
And the
is.
books that you've mentioned are timeless.
Oh, very.
They apply today just like they did, years back. Napoleon Hill, that was, quite a while back.
Absolutely, I love his books. Him,
Yeah.
John Maxwell.
John Maxwell.
Oh man,
Leadership.
man,
Yeah.
phenomenal guy. Those are key books. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie. That's my number one. It's top of the list.
That's on my reading list now to go back over there.
If you're in the audience and you haven't read it, get it off Amazon right now and read it. It'll change your life.
It will.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Wow. I can't believe this. You got anything you want to ask Richard C3 or?
No, I just I love sitting next to someone who inspires me as well, and someone that I can look up to as a friend, as a partner. You inspire me, and I'm sure you're inspiring a lot of other people out there, and it just makes me want to elevate my game more. And you're about to be a father as well, and I'm just super excited for that. And I just have nothing but great things to say about you, Richard. You're a class act, man. And thank you for sharing your testimony today and, showing us, who you are. And I'm sure the audience appreciate that as well. So
Yeah, I know it's not easy to get in public and talk about some things that we've all, that are in our closet. But, I really appreciate you being open and transparent. And the great thing is that, like I said before, wherever you are, no matter how bad you think it is, right?
Absolutely.
And if your real estate career is blowing up, if it's come off the track, the wheels, it's never too late to get it back on track.
I agree.
It can be done.
And like I said, I appreciate you guys saying that, but I really appreciate you too. You don't know how much you guys have poured into my life. Even some of the team members, this is a blessing opportunity to work with you guys in partnership. The amount of value that you guys the extent that you go to pour into us is you can't put a dollar amount on it, man. It's really a blessing.
We just have a flashlight, and the team is what makes it. It's the people in the team, just like yourself. And I know who you're talking about, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this organization and to be here with you guys to witness what's going on. It really is. It's amazing.
I'm excited to see the seeds that you're planting now grow, further along in your career here as well.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
can see
forward
it.
too.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a great opportunity for us all. So
Yeah, Richard, if somebody in the audience wanted to reach out to you just to have a little convo with you, or just to say thank you, or get to know you a little better, what's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook or Instagram. Really, Rich Wallace 92. I have my cell phone number, but I'm not gonna give that out. But if you get to me on Instagram or Facebook, I definitely don't mind talking to you, because I understand we're living in a day and time where we all need help from somebody. So
Yeah,
I can understand that
for sure. Did I tell you how much I like those French cuffs, man?
Man, you know what? I got these on my wedding day.
Did you really?
Man, and you know what?
they're stylish.
I thought so too. I thought so too. So I had to put them on because today was a important day. For you guys allowing me to get up and speak, and so these are kind of, I guess, the ones that make me happy. So I had to put them on.
Yeah. That's great, man. It's like he's been in my wardrobe or something. I don't know. You must have got those clothes out of my closet or something.
I've been jocking your style a little bit,
He's a styling guy. That's all I can say.
They say don't recreate the wheel, just enhance it. So
there you go.
Right.
There you go.
Richard, would you want to come back on the show again and do a little checkup?
Absolutely. I would love to, once I get to a certain level, because, I'm always seeking to grow. And I believe, with growth, then you can be able to talk about those things. I'm glad for where I've come, but I'm really looking forward to what's before me and, what the work that's required so I can be that person that I desire to be. So I definitely look forward to coming back.
Wow. Well, I know for a fact that today's show has hit some people right between the eyes. And I sure hope so. I hope this has had a positive impact on you if you're watching. Richard is a great, great man, and he has a great family. We love him and his wife. And let's see, it's Ryan Edward is going to be joining us. Ryan Edward Wallace will be joining us somewhere in June, maybe around Father's Day.
Yes, sir, the young buck.
We'll be around to welcome him into the world as well.
Absolutely, I look forward to it.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for being here today. What a thrill, what an honor. And we're just so glad to have you as part of our movement here. And just thank you again for being who you are, my friend.
Appreciate you, Mr. Cliff.
Yeah. Travis, I think we got a wrap there, man.
I think so. You were right, too. The show did not disappoint.
Oh,
it was a great story, great show today, man.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, really heartwarming. So great to have great stories to share here.
Now, I'm not going to lie, Richard. I almost cut your mic off when you started to talk about my Longhorns, but I fought the urge. I fought the urge.
I can't help it. It's in my bloodline. It's in my bloodline.
I hear you guys.
But you know what's so funny, though? We make fun of OU, and half the kids on that team are from Texas. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like, we recruit only from Texas. I mean, I guess we don't got enough good players in Oklahoma, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
Crazy.
That's facts.
Good stuff. Well, I can't wait to get to a packed football stadium again.
That's right.
And it's coming around. Rangers opening day is Monday.
Yeah, but opening day for baseball is today.
Today's opening day for baseball,
for
right?
the MLB, yeah.
For MLB.
Woo!
Yeah, man. Isn't it great?
Sir.
Isn't it great to see the stadiums full again? Hopefully,
Absolutely.
if California will ever figure it out, they'll get theirs open too. But
we're praying.
But yeah, we're praying for him. Is right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Travis, thank you again so much.
Not a problem.
RW3, CF2, CF3. Sorry, I'm 2.
No, it's okay. CF2,
We got
CF3, and
RW3,
RW3.
CF3, and CF2
And then
right
you got
here. And then
TG2.
Two?
Yeah,
That's
TG2.
correct. That's correct.
Man, we got it all going on here today. Well, all right, folks, thanks for being with us. We're going to be back next week with another outstanding guest. And just remember, keep your powder dry because you never know when you're going to need to fire. We'll see you next week on Cliff's Notes. All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.